I have never seen anything quite like it. Chelsea Football Club have enough players to form a country, a functioning one, with a bench and a B team and a decent chance of qualifying for the World Cup. 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗏 here with FourFourTwo. Let's talk about it. Since 𝗬𝗫𝗏𝗍𝗓 took over Chelsea in May 2022, the club has chucked money about like Monopoly notes. Only this is real, and Stamford Bridge is the board. From summer 2022 to summer 2024, Chelsea have spent over £1 billion on transfers. To put that into context, that's more than the GDP of some small nations. More than Arsene Wenger spent across 2 decades at Arsenal, and it's the highest net spend in Europe over that period, comfortably. But guess what? They ain't stopping. Let me read you their squad. Djordje Petrovic, Robert Sanchez, Philip Jorgensen.
It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
Armando Broja, Marc Guéhi and David Datro Fofana. That's 43 players. 43! That's not a squad, that's a census. That's not depth, that's a population crisis. And they are still not done. Jamie Gittens and Joao Pedro are on their way to West London. Of course they are, because when you've already got 16 wingers and 13 strikers, the one thing you clearly need is more wingers and more strikers. Now, let's try and make some sense of it. If we assume Enzo, Caicedo and Palmer are locked into that midfield and half space, as they should be by the way, then who's the ideal front three ahead of them? If I'm setting up Chelsea's attack right now, I'm going Bino Gittens and Pedro Neto on the wings and Liam Delap through the middle, rotating with Joao Pedro depending on the game state. And let me break down why. You've got Gittens on either side, who is explosive, vertical, chalk on his boots. I think Gittens has been brought in to hold the width and pin the fullback deep. It's not just about flair on the flank, it's tactical warfare. That one move stretches the defensive line and cracks open the game for the players inside. All of a sudden, Enzo and Palmer have space between the lines. The centre-backs being pulled towards the touchline, the full-backs glued to Gittens, and in between, gaps, half spaces, passing lanes. It gives Enzo more time on the ball, Palmer more pockets to operate in, and it invites those underlapping runs from full-backs, all midfielders. And I think that's exactly how Maresca wants to hurt teams, through manipulation, not chaos. And Gittens, by just standing wide and demanding attention, becomes the spark that makes it all possible. And on the opposite side, Neto, he operates as an inverted winger. He wants to drift inside, combine and attack the half space. That contrast is so key. One gives you raw width, the other gives you sharp diags and final third craft. Now picture those two running either side of the lap, who doesn't need to be flashy, just functional. He presses, makes selfless runs and occupies both centre-backs. Like Gittens, his presence, it pins defenders, which gives Neto more room to come inside and Gittens more space to isolate one-on-one. Maresca wants positional discipline, quick passing triangles and high pressing, and this trio actually fits. You've got verticality, pressing, intensity, 1v1 threat, and most importantly, off-the-ball intelligence. All three are willing runners, all three can rotate mid-game, and none of them clog the same zones, which has been Chelsea's biggest problem when they try to cram flair players into the same 20 yards of space. And then there's the other new man, Joao Pedro, £60 million from Brighton. I think that's a superb signing, by the way. This bloke offers something completely different. Pedro's all about control, patience, and intelligence. Think of him as more of a false nine, not just a striker waiting on service, but also a creator who drops deep, pulls defenders out of position. His ability to read the game and find those half spaces adds a subtle but such a crucial dimension to the attack. When the game is stretched, you bring Gittens or Neto to push wide and rip it open. When it's tight, Pedro can unlock defences with his movement, clever passing. But here's the real question. Do they really need this many attackers? The short answer, probably not. The long answer, maybe, if they're genuinely planning to go deep in the Champions League and compete on four fronts. They did just win the Conference League, and to their credit, they did it by rotating almost an entire 11 every Thursday night. So maybe this is the model. Maybe Maresca builds a midweek team and a weekend team, fully interchangeable, like a footballing hydra. But the fact of the matter is, this isn't Football Manager. You can't keep 43 players happy, rotate them all in, and expect everyone to run smoothly. Real life football isn't career mode, where everyone gets minutes and morale stays high. Managing that many egos, keeping players sharp, and building proper team chemistry, that's a whole other level of challenge. And while they're stockpiling attackers like Pokemon cards, what about the goalkeeper situation? The goalkeeper is your last line of defence. The guy who needs to inspire confidence throughout the team. And I think Sanchez sometimes struggles with that. Look at the best teams. Real Madrid with Courtois, Liverpool with Alisson, Arsenal with Raya. These keepers do more than just save shots. They lead, organise and start attacks. Chelsea need that. But judging by Maresca's quotes, it doesn't seem like anything will be changing. He said, and I quote, "The keeper situation is simple. Robert is number 1, Philip is number 2, and we will analyse and judge penders. My nan and different players at other clubs, I don't think it is worth talking about them." Now look, if Chelsea are going to make this whole thing sustainable, outgoings have to be a part of the equation. You can't just keep hoarding players like it's a car boot clearance sale. At some point, people need to leave. One name that's trending at the moment, 𝗬𝗫𝗧𝗏𝗏, linked with a move to Arsenal. That's not a small rumour, by the way. Arsenal are reportedly in advanced talks. It's no secret 𝗦𝗶𝗴𝗍𝗏 is in the market for a winger who can play on both flanks. 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗍𝗏 ticks that box. Look, despite the outrage from 99% of Arsenal fans, honestly, I get it. 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗍𝗏 has the talent. He's got that slinky left foot, unpredictability in those 1v1s. And when he's on it, he's electric. We do have to bear in mind though, 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗍𝗏 is not Arteta's first choice. That is of course Rodrigo, we think. But one to keep an eye on for sure. So many Chelsea players have been told to leave in recent windows that it's genuinely become difficult for clubs, agents, even fans to know what any individual departure actually means. Are they being sold because they're not good enough? Or because there's literally no space left? You've got Champions League level talent, Champions League winners for God's sake. Look at Ben Chilwell being pushed out simply because there are too many bodies there. Joao Felix, another one. I mean, why? Why did they sign him? Is he not good enough? Or is there not enough space? If I'm United, if I'm Spurs, if I'm Arsenal, I'm taking a Joao Felix any day of the week. 25 years old, we know he's got bags of ability, and people forget this guy cost £113 million when Atletico signed him. There's a reason for that. You don't lose that quality overnight. And maybe he's just been stuck in the wrong ecosystems with gaffers who either don't trust him or don't know how to unlock him. And now, Chelsea, in the middle of their super squad era, seem to have no time for him either. Look, I think this season is a massive season for Chelsea. How do you think Maresca's going to deal with this squad? Let us know in the comments below. That's all for now. See you next week.